Nick Saban is scared to release a depth chart ahead of the Middle Tennessee State game. This is ridiculous. Now, I know it all has to do with the quarterback situation at Alabama. He doesn't come out and say that in the press conference. He's like, "Oh, quarterback no different than any other position." Let me read you what he says, and then we'll talk about it because he steps on a rake and slaps himself right in the face. He says, first of all, this is the first time in Nick Saban's history at Alabama that he has not released a depth chart prior to the week of a game. First time ever. So just let that sink in. But Middle Tennessee State they play this week. And I don't want to hear nothing about how they play. But they play Texas in week 2. They don't give a shit. Texas ain't doing anything this week based on Alabama's depth chart for this week. Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. They're going to watch the Alabama game on Saturday and plan accordingly for the... So just stop. But anyway, so here's what Nick Saban said when asked about the depth chart. We're not going to be releasing one. It creates a lot of distractions within the locker room, he said. He goes on to say, quite frankly, we don't need that. I want all of our players to continue to compete for playing time, to try to play at the highest level, and I don't want anybody on our team to think that they're a backup or whatever. Exact quote from Saban. So, his reasoning right there for not releasing a depth chart is he doesn't want whoever's listed as a backup to stop competing, right? But listen to this. He goes on to say, after apologizing to the media for not releasing a depth chart, Saban went on to say, quote, the players know who are starting and who isn't. If they already know, if the players know, then how could releasing a depth chart possibly impact the backups if they already know they're backups? It's Middle Tennessee State. Now, look, this has nothing to do... Lots of coaches have done this, and I don't like it regardless. Secrecy around college football has gotten completely out of control over the last few years. Now, I know we're all college football fans, and most of us don't even watch the NFL at all. I watch it every once in a while casually if there's a great game on or something, but I don't even have a favorite NFL team. But I prefer the college game and the college brand. But one thing that the NFL gets right is there are rules surrounding these types of things. Depth charts, injury reports. Injury reports is another one that drives me up the wall with colleges. And this is one I've yelled about 100 times when it comes to Kirby Smart. So, look, because there are going to be people in the comments section, well, you just hate Nick Saban. Any coach that does or says something that I think is stupid, wrong, or ignorant, I point it out, even when it's Kirby Smart. Believe me, there are a lot of Georgia fans who wish I'd get off the internet and never come back, because I do point out idiocy from Georgia when I see it. But injuries is another one. They don't, like Kirby's famous for this guy's day-to-day. 6 months later, you still ain't seen him play. I hate that shit. But anyway, back to the Nick Saban thing. Everybody on the internet appears to know that Jalen Mildew is the starter, at least in week 1, for Alabama. But even if he's not, even if all the internet reporters are wrong, you know how it goes. All these people live next door to a lady who used to be the hairdresser for Nick Saban's 3rd grade teacher's son, who is now a caddy at a country club, and one of the members there told him that Jalen Milroe was starting. That kind of thing. Everyone seems to be saying it's Jalen Milroe. I kind of think it'll be Jalen Milroe too. But it's Middle Tennessee State. Well, why does it matter? You could play all 3 if you wanted. You could rotate them every other series if you wanted. You could let one play in the first quarter, one play in the second quarter, one play in the third quarter. And then, hell, you could even let that true freshman play in the fourth quarter. The idea that we're 4 or 5 days away from Alabama's first game and Nick Saban doesn't want to release a depth chart because he doesn't want anybody to know the starting quarterback is just ridiculous. It's Middle Tennessee State. Now, yeah, they beat the soul and the will to live out of Miami last year, but that's Miami. Let's be honest. If Alabama needs some type of advantage, psychological or otherwise, over Middle Tennessee State that they think they can achieve by not naming a starter, that's fucking sad. It's sad. Just name a starter. These people have been competing for this job since February. You have to know who the starter is by now. And they do know, by the way. He comes out and he says it. Hey, after the lie, which is, well, we're not releasing a depth chart because we don't want to hurt the backups' feelings, basically. We don't want people to think they're backups and then maybe they won't practice as hard. That was the lie. He then goes on to tell you the truth. The team already knows who the starters are and who the backups are. He said it plain as day. So whoever's starting already knows it. The only point in not releasing this is to keep it a secret from Middle Tennessee friggin' State. Why?